Hello there, everybody. Thank you for watching Giraffe Sports. My name is Cole Martins. This is the part two of the NFL Week 3 of the 2014 season. If you did miss part 1, you can click on the link below, description below. If you want to watch that one first, or you can watch this one first, doesn't matter to me. Whatever makes you happy, you can go ahead and just try to watch it after this one. But we're going to start off this one as the Green Bay Packers will take on the Detroit Lions, as Green Bay last week getting things going once again as they beat the New York Jets, as a very, very powerful game for Aaron Rodgers, as well for Jordy Nelson, who had over 200 yards receiving the game with a touchdown as well. Cobb as well with a great game with 2 touchdown receptions, as this Green Bay offense looks like they got things clicking this week, and it looks like they got their momentum back after taking a pretty big loss to the Seattle Seahawks week 1. As for the team, they're going to be heading to Detroit, the Detroit Lions. They struggled last week against the Carolina Panthers, looking like they're showing a little bit of their old self as their offense could not get things going. Defense as well, just seemed like they were doing good in the first half. The second half, they kind of died a little bit too with the offense. Detroit, though, I still think they have a little bit of momentum in them, but coming in this week, I just feel like the Green Bay Packers are the better team. I just feel like the Lions secondary, who is very hurt in this game, are going to struggle a little bit against Aaron Rodgers and this high-powered passing offense of the Packers. But if the Green Bay Packers could also get that running game going with Eddie Lacy, I could believe that could be a huge problem as well for the Lions. But I do see the Packers winning this one in Detroit against the Detroit Lions, score of 31-17. Then we have our next game, which is the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. As the Colts coming in this, another surprising team starting this season 0-2, as they took a very, very big loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in that one. The Eagles Colts had a pretty big lead in that one, but the Eagles came back, storming back, and beat the Colts. And for the first time in the Andrew Luck era, they are starting a season 0-2. As well, for the first time for Andrew Luck, he has lost back-to-back games. So the Colts trying to get things clicking in this one, as they're going to be going against a team that with some question marks, the Jacksonville Jaguars. As so far, first game of the year, it looks like they already had something going. They're up 17-0 against the Eagles. But ever since that first half to begin the season, I believe they've been outscored 56-10 ever since that first half. And right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars trying to figure things out, as last week they were beating up against the Redskins. So far, Chad Hennings looked pretty good to where I don't believe that they put Broyles in. Chad Hennings playing a pretty good season so far. It's just overall they just can't get things going on the field, and that is why I believe it's going to hurt them again here, even though they are at home, which I believe will give them a couple more points in this game. I still believe the Colts are going to dominate this game. Just the Colts overall have so much power to them. And I do believe that is why the Colts are going to win this one 38-13. Then we have our next game here. The Oakland Raiders will be taking on the New England Patriots. Oakland last week with another team who had a struggling game, as just looked like they could not get anything going at all. Rookie quarterback Derek Carr still trying to get things figured out, still trying to get this offense going. As running backs as well, McFadden and Jones-Drew, I thought would have a little bit more leadership on their back, but so far they cannot do anything as well. As a defense also for Oakland need to step up a little bit. But then we had to the New England Patriots, who last week got their season rolling now, as they get their first win of the year after losing week 1, as they had a dominating win against the Minnesota Vikings. As the New England defense actually showed up in this game very dominant, which is something we see on and off of this team, which is always a question mark coming in every week. As the Patriots defense had 6 sacks, 4 interceptions, and a blocked field goal for a touchdown in that game. So if you had a Patriots in your fantasy team, man, good for you. I believe they had, in my league, they had 40 points. I don't know what it was for other leagues, but they were a dominating defense last week. And in this one, I would not be surprised to see the New England Patriots defense dominate again. Like I mentioned, Derek Carr still struggling a little bit, trying to figure out this offense, and he might struggle a little bit more against this New England Patriots defense. And Tom Brady, I believe, is going to have another good game, And I believe it's going to be on the clips of the first game of the year where I believe Tom Brady and Gronkowski are going to get connected in this one a little more. As I believe the New England Patriots are going to beat the Oakland Raiders at home for the Patriots 27-10. Then we head to Arizona as the San Francisco 49ers will take on the Arizona Cardinals. San Francisco last week took a surprising loss to the Chicago Bears as a game they looked like they had under control. They lost the grip on that one as they let the Bears come back into it and take the win from them in their home opener. As the offense looked like they looked very well at the beginning, but near the end of the game they just struggled a little too much. And same with the defense for the 49ers. And the Bears capitalized with their powerful offense and took advantage of these San Francisco 49ers. As for the Eagles, they get their first win of the year last week as they took care of the Oakland Raiders, I believe it was. As Cardinals looked, once again, one of the best defenses in the league with Peterson and the defensive back for that team. As overall they look good, and Carson Palmer did not get to play last week as he had to sit the bench. I don't remember what his injury was, but Drew Stanton started for them last week and played a very good game. I do believe Carson Palmer is going to start again this week, so we'll see him at 100%, which is good for the Arizona Cardinals. And Julie, in this one, I'm going to go with the home team in this one with the Arizona Cardinals. I just believe that offense is going to have something clicking in this one. Carson Palmer having a week to rest and rest his body, I think is going to be a huge factor in this one as well. As I do believe that defense for the Arizona Cardinals is going to be the big factor in this game. If they can stop Kaepernick from running the ball and stop these receivers, I believe that is the key thing for the Arizona Cardinals in this game. And I believe the Cardinals are going to take this one at home over the San Francisco 49ers 17-13. Then we head to my game of the week, the game I actually am most excited for this week. As a rematch of the Super Bowl from last year, the Denver Broncos will head to Seattle to take on last year's Super Bowl champions, the Seattle Seahawks. And coming in this one, Denver starting on the season 2-0 now as they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Peyton Manning once again looking impressive in this game. The offense overall looking good as well. And to add on to this week for that offense, Wes Walker, who was supposed to be suspended for, I believe, another 2 games, will be able to come back this week after the NFL passing the new drug policy. So that is good news for the Denver Broncos offense. Defensive wise, I believe they still need to get things connected here as they're trying to figure out, the new players on that defense trying to figure things out. As for the Seattle Seahawks, they had a surprising loss last week as they lost to San Diego Chargers in San Diego. Just overall, that team just did not look like the Seattle Seahawks team we know, as Russell Wilson and that offense did not look like they just were struggling a little bit. The Seattle defense just did not know they were, as Philip Rivers pretty much dominated the Seattle defense. And in this one, I believe the Seattle Seahawks are going to come into this one with a lot of rage. And to tell the truth in this one, I don't know who to pick. I truly do not. This is a hard decision. Yes, Seattle is at home, and I believe that is a huge advantage for them as they've only lost once in the last 2 or 3 years at home. That was Arizona last year. But I believe in this one, again, this is like a 50-50 toss-up for me. I am going to go with the Denver Broncos in this one. I went with the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl last year. I'm going to keep with them in this one. I just believe the Denver Broncos, just like the San Diego Chargers last week did, are going to go after that Seattle defense, and they're going to take advantage of them. And I believe the Denver Broncos are going to beat the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle 21-20. Then we do our next game as the Kansas City Chiefs will take on the Miami Dolphins. Kansas City, once again, coming off a loss to the Denver Broncos and now starting the season 0-2. The offense right now just doesn't know what's going on, I believe, for them, as Alex Smith trying to figure things out, and the quarterback position are just struggling so far. And Javon Charles, I believe he's coming back this week. I can't remember if they said he was fully practicing. I know that. But Davis last week had a very good game in the backfield for them. Let's see if we can continue that once again. And for Miami, they took their first loss of the season last week as they lost to the Buffalo Bills in an AFC East battle. And now coming in this one, hoping to try to get to 2-1 and try to hopefully tie the Buffalo Bills this week, as Tannehill looking for a better game. And also another big thing for the Miami Dolphins is that they lost Marino, who was a big player in Week 1 against the New England Patriots. So it should be interesting to see how much that's going to hurt this Miami team. We kind of seen a little bit what it did last week. But in this one, even though the Miami Dolphins are at home, I'm going to pick Kansas City. They just have a little more than the Miami Dolphins, and I believe both these defenses are hurting a little bit with some missing points, especially the Kansas City, who's lost quite a few players this year. But I just believe the Kansas City team is going to be strong in this one, and they're going to get the win over the Dolphins 17-14. Now we get to our Sunday night game, as the Pittsburgh Steelers will take on the Carolina Panthers. As last week, the Pittsburgh Steelers struggled to begin the second week of the season, and on Thursday night, they pretty much got dominated by the Baltimore Ravens, as Ben Roethlisberger just could not do anything. As he needs to try to, him and that offense need to try to figure some things out a little bit, as well as the defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. In Carolina last week, they got Cam Newton back for the first time because they didn't have a Week 1 because he has ribs injury. So he came back against the Detroit Lions and played an outstanding game, showing that he is not afraid to run the ball. As the Carolina Panthers pretty much dominated the Detroit Lions offense and defensive wise, as a great job by the Pittsburgh Panther defense, as they stopped the Lions offense from doing anything big in that game. As once again in this game, that is a key factor for the Carolina Panthers. They just need to stop the Pittsburgh Steelers from making any big plays, and that's what I believe is going to happen in this one. Carolina is going to win this one. I just believe Cam Newton's going to have another great game for the Panthers, and that Carolina defense is just going to stop the Pittsburgh Steelers in their tracks. And I believe the Carolina Panthers are going to win this one at home, dominating in a very good way for the Carolina Panthers fans, at least, in a 31-10 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we have our final game of the week, and the Monday night game, the Chicago Bears will take on the New York Jets. Chicago last week coming in a very impressive win after beginning their season with a loss, winning over the San Francisco 49ers in the San Francisco 49ers new stadium, Levi Stadium. As the Bears, who were down in that one, came back in an impressive game by Jay Cutler, as well as more of a great impression from Brandon Marshall, who had big catches in that game, which led the Chicago Bears to come back and win that one. As Chicago now looks like they got some things rolling, and it's a team that a lot of people predict to make the playoffs this year. As the New York Jets, they came off a loss last week to the Green Bay Packers, but even though they did lose to the Packers, they still looked very impressive on offensive-wise, as Geno Smith looking very good so far, as he's impressed me in this season as a guy I thought was below average, but so far this year, he has made me believe he is a guy who can play with the big boys here, as well as the new running back Chris Johnson, who has had a big impact for the Jets this year, but he is doing enough to help the team right now. But Eric Decker, a wide receiver that just came in for the Jets this year, he's made a big impact and it helped Geno Smith a lot so far. As the Jets offense, it looks like they got some things clicking right now. As in this game, I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. The Bears so far have just looked very impressive, especially from last week. This Week 1, they had some struggles trying to figure out that offense. I believe they got things going again here. As they do, the Chicago Bears are going to win this one over the New York Jets in New York, 27-20. So that is it for my Week 3 predictions in the NFL. Once again, if you do not watch Part 1, you can click on it in the descriptions and watch that. I'd like to hear what you guys got to say in the comments below. Who do you think is going to win these games in Part 2 here? What games are you looking forward to watching? Who do you think is going to have a big impact in these games? I'd love to hear what you guys got to say. Once again, just comment below the video. If you could also please like this video and subscribe to my channel, that would be awesome. You can also follow us on Twitter at NewsGiraffe. We'll give you the latest news in the NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB, also in NASCAR and every other sport as well. You can also follow me on Twitter at ColeMartins57. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. We really appreciate it, and you have a great day.